If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. This African proverb inspires Foundation's community partnership to foster collaboration among networks for special needs children, youth, and families in Bucks County. Welcome to FCP Conversations Online, featuring Bucks County nonprofit leaders. Join our discussion with community organizations that share our mission and are making a difference in the lives of our neighbors.
Hello, I'm Ron Bernstein, the Executive Director of Foundation's Community Partnership. Welcome to FCP Conversations Online, and thank you for joining us. Our guest today is Barbara Simmons, the Executive Director of the Peace Center located in Langhorne here in Bucks County. Barbara, welcome, and thank you for joining us.
I'm excited to be here, Ron. Thank you.
Hey, I understand that the Peace Center is getting ready to celebrate its 35th anniversary. Really amazing. Tell us a little bit about how the organization got started.
Well, the organization started around 1982 during a time when there was a lot of fear in the world about nuclear weapons, the expansion of nuclear weapons. How do we keep people safe? And so it was really an interfaith effort. A lot of citizens across Bucks County, all different faiths, came together and started talking about how do we really create peace? And so it started with a group of really committed citizens. In fact, some of the people literally quit their jobs to begin this organization. And so they had humble beginnings and finally opened up an office in Newtown and then moved to Langhorne in 1987. But these were a group of people, with young kids, who were really concerned about the planet, the safety of the planet, and how do we make this a planet where we can raise our kids, breathe easy, feel safe. So there were a lot of educational forums, and that's when I started to get involved. I started going to some of their panel discussions and speakers, and at the time they were working with Congressman Peter Kosmeier, and I had 2 young children at the time, and I was really impressed with what I was seeing, the professional aspect of these forums. And so I started volunteering for the organization.
Well, let me ask you, because we only have a certain amount of time. How has it evolved since then?
Well,
because peace is still an issue.
Absolutely. How it has evolved is that there were a group of retired teachers and social workers and such that were looking at if we really do want to create peace, how do we do that in a sustainable way? And these became my mentors. These gray-haired women who were retired, very soft-spoken, very humble, but they said if we don't start bringing peace education into our schools and working with kids, we are not going to have a chance to produce leaders that understand how do you problem solve some of these very difficult, challenging situations our country faces. So that's how it has evolved in that these.
So when you talk about, peace education or peace literacy, what are we specifically talking about?
Good question, because this is really what I get excited about. Peace literacy is a set of skills, much like we would learn how to do math or how to read a book. It's a set of skills that we teach children, we teach educators, we teach young people, and adults as well. We don't have those skills. We didn't come with a manual. We weren't taught when we went to school, much like we would teach any other subject matter that we need to get proficient in. That's what peace literacy is.
And how does the Peace Center get involved in the schools, and what schools are you working with, and where does this all happen?
When we started out, we started out working in probably schools that would embrace us, the local more private schools, Quaker schools, Catholic schools. And then once we really developed our own programming, we started branching out and we work in schools across the county. We don't go into a school and do a one pony show kind of program. We are in there for at least 8 weeks, an hour at a time, each classroom over the course of 8 weeks. So in other words, we're giving them a set of skills, and then we're giving that teacher a set of skills to be able to continue to work with the kids.
So are you doing that at the elementary school level, the junior high, high school? Are you working with Bucks County Community College? Are you doing it at the college level?
So we do a lot of work at the elementary level and a lot of work at the middle school level. It's been harder to bring into any time when you have, and this is where it's more difficult in high schools, the way their day is structured, it's very difficult to come in over the course of time. And here's what we find. When they don't bring in peace education into the high school, we're going in and doing a lot of interventions. And so what we try to do over the summer is work with educators, give them the tools to work with their students in high school.
So are these organizations welcoming you now?
Oh, yeah.
Schools, churches.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, for 35 years, I think we have proven ourselves. Okay. We're there when there are problems, but we want to be there before those problems exist.
Well, I know you have this one program called Girls Unlimited, and you published a book. The person who runs that program for you did a great job, and you published a book. So tell us a little bit about that.
So the Girls Unlimited program was a creation done by Karen Kasdan, who has she received her master's in education from Harvard University. She had already been an author of several books. And when she started going around and talking to girls about her story, and she's got quite a powerful story about how she had been teased in middle school, teased unmercifully in middle school, because she was 6 foot tall by middle school. She had a very large nose. She had frizzy red hair. And, she became an adult who looked at how that scarred her. And she said, we need to be doing something specifically for young women. Why young women? Why not young men? Young women, by the time they reach 6th and 7th grade, their self-image has gone into the ditch. They start to believe things that they hear. They start to internalize that oppression. And it is, we see cutting, we see eating disorders, we see a lot of cyberbullying. We were seeing a lot of bullying. And so what we're trying to do with this program is give those girls the power that they want to have, but direct it in a really healthy way. So
yeah, I know that you also, as part of that, you're running an anti-bullying hotline of some type.
Mm-hmm. But if I could just finish so Karen wrote a book geared for these young women. We also have a curriculum and she's been going around the country with this curriculum and this book, teaching others. She just came back from Florida. She's on her way to Mississippi on Wednesday. And so it's become really popular. But a lot of parents said, well, what about the boys? We need programs for the boys. And so we did focus groups. We led focus groups for 7th grade boys, not good. Focus groups for 6th grade boys, not good. Focus groups for 5th grade boys, not good. And when I say not good, they really didn't want to open up and talk. So by 4th grade, they did. So now we have a program called Wise Guys. And Karen's gung-ho on that one now, and we're doing that in Newtown.
Well, somebody should have enrolled me in that program a long time ago. I would have enjoyed that. So I had interrupted you, but I wanted to find out about the bullying hotline because I think that's really important.
We get calls throughout the day and night, or people can go on our website, which is www.thepeacecenter.org. And there's a bullying prevention little button you can push. If you're being bullied, you hit that button, we get the message. And so an example would be we were working in Bristol, and there had been a shooting that happened, a gang-style shooting that had happened. And the siblings of this young man were still in school. And they didn't come to school that day. Something was going down, and the assistant principal mentioned it to us. He said, I'm really nervous. I'm hearing from the street that something's going to happen. And we leapt into action, and we started calling ministers in Bristol, make a long story short, I was on the phone with that vice principal Friday night at 9:00 at night because we were able to avert a disaster. But it was because we were able to continue that conversation into the evening to make sure we were preventing violence. Now, that's a little bit different from a bullying hotline.
Yeah.
But honestly, everybody has a different definition of bullying.
Right.
And so we might have a parent that comes to us in tears because they believe that their child is being bullied, when we get to the root of the problem, it turns out that their child might be the bully. Mm-hmm. So we got a lot of calls yesterday, for example, people who were crying and felt that they needed to talk to somebody who could empathize with what they were feeling because of the election.
Yeah, it was a tough election day.
It really was.
So I understand. So, Barb, we were talking about some of the big events you have. You mentioned a live feed event. Could you explain that?
Sure. So because this election was so divisive, we are doing a part of a national program. And that part of being a national program is there will be a live Facebook feed, a 2-hour live Facebook feed followed by a dialogue. And I bring that up because there are constantly conflicts that are dividing our communities. And having dialogues are really important. So one of the things the Peace Center has been doing is engaging communities of color and others in the community who want to try and address some of the division that's happening. So we have dialogues on race. We have a day of healing and reconciliation. We have our human peace sign, which tries to break the record on the number of people that come together to form a human peace sign. But I did want to mention that one thing that's happening right now that we're seeing a trend in, and that's a rise in anti-Semitism and racism. And so we're dealing with that in ways that we hadn't been quite prepared for, whether it's the swastika sign, Confederate flag. It's the realization that not only do these dialogues have to happen in our community, they need to happen in our high schools. So that's one of the routes we want to be going.
Barbara, I want to make sure that I get a chance to ask you, if people listening today want to get involved with the Peace Center, whether they want to volunteer time, bring food or clothing, or whether they want to make a financial donation, how does one do that?
So if they could go on our website at www.thepeacecenter.org, and we have a Facebook page as well, the Peace Center Langhorne. We would love to have their donations. We'd love to have their volunteering. We don't take clothing or food because what we're doing is we're going out into the schools and working with kids directly. So I think getting people involved in our programming and getting people involved in putting on events, we love that.
I think it's great. You guys do really important work, Barb. I know you have a lot of interns. You have a lot of involvement with a lot of educational institutions. Usually I like to ask people about where their favorite lunch spots are, but I know you're a brown bag gal. So I'm going to ask you about dinner. Tell me where you'd like to go to dinner in Bucks County.
Oh, good question. There's this little place called Cafe Con Leche in Newtown, and they have this wonderful, colorful cast of characters that work there, and their food is phenomenal. And it's just in a little alleyway in the back of...
I happen to know exactly where it is. And I got to tell you a secret. In 1992, I went to the Olympics in Barcelona with my son, and the only thing I knew how to say was Cafe Con Leche. So when I saw that sign in Newtown, I made sure to go there. Well, Barb, thanks for the great work you do in our Bucks County community and for joining me today to share your experience and knowledge leading the Peace Center. Thank you to our listeners for your involvement in our community. Visit our Facebook page and like us because we like you, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and join the conversation.
Foundation's Community Partnership believes that when we join forces, we're stronger. We are better able to support the behavioral health and human service needs of children and young adults in Bucks County. Join us again for FCP Conversations Online. Let's go farther together.